So what we can do is we actually can remove this white if we create like a transparent value here. Use our gradient and make sure it's contiguous. We should be able to just give these transparent values, right? Okay. And I think that's mainly all we're using. Oh, we're using this. We're not actually using a lot of the sprite sheet, so we are going to need to change a few things though. Okay, I think that might be alright. I'm not sure if we're using this sprite here. But we can definitely get rid of that middle bit. Okay. Okay, so you can see here that sprite is like a little less obnoxious, but maybe we need to just get rid of that little peppering of pixels down the side. I don't think it's particularly useful. Maybe I might see if I can keep the black and see how that looks. But I didn't like the white dots. I thought that was a bit much. Okay, now there is a little bit of a artifact here on the side, which is due to the way that the textures are set up. Yeah, no, I don't like those dots either. So we could probably just simplify this whole tile system, or this whole look of the walls. The walls do look really thin. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I might have to rebuild this. Well, I mean, this was just a temporary piece of art anyway. But we might want to rebuild the way that the walls work pretty soon, especially now that we've inverted the colors. So I did add like a fog system. Unfortunately, it's not very performant. I might re-enable that for a little bit. Where is it? I think also while I'm streaming, it might not be great. So this is like a dynamic fog that emanates over the background, and that makes the lights sort of pulse and morph. I need to test this on mobile. I'm not sure how performant it's going to be. As you can see, yeah, it really does add a lot of light and color to and you can see yeah, the lights are way more intense. I need to turn that intensity down if I want to keep the fog system. But honestly, I don't feel like the fog is really adding anything to the game right now. I thought it would add more atmosphere, but I didn't really like how the game looked when I added shadows. So we can bring the shadows back in quickly and just see how that feels again. But yeah, it wasn't particularly we bring that opacity down a little bit. Okay, and so this is sort of what I was thinking for the shadow system. So it's quite a delicate shadow system. In fact, I'm not sure whether it's even... Oh yeah, it is displaying, but it's really delicate. You can see sort of a little bit around these corners. Maybe we need to just bring that up a bit more anyway. We can put full opacity and show you what the full strength version would look like. If it's even actually, I don't know if it is working. One thing you'll notice as well is the boost pads have been reduced quite drastically in strength, and the player controls have been tweaked so that it's a lot easier to control. And I think yesterday we were working on the engine noises, which you can't, I suppose, hear a whole lot, but it does make a difference. Now the engine noises are a little bit less obnoxious. Okay, well that shadow really isn't doing anything for us, so I don't see the point in enabling it. Cool, alright. So, this next step is making the touch events for our new aim system. Now, I already have a touch event for the initial shoot, so, well, actually a touch button. So if we grab our GUI control scene, open that up. Okay, so this texture here, I think, is not really what I want, but I'll leave that as is. Okay, so we've basically got a button, and under each button we have a touch button. So the button is honestly pretty useless. However, it allows us to use our mouse. I'll show you. In the PC version, it allows us to trigger these buttons using the buttons themselves. And they probably don't need to be buttons anymore. I think we can just use the touch button, but we'll see. So then we've got this touch button. That's interesting. So I think we maybe want pass-by presses to be enabled. I didn't realize that was a feature. So I guess that means that if you're holding this and you drag your finger over, we want this to suddenly trigger, right? Okay. So we don't quite need these shapes visible in the UI anymore because they're full width and height anyway. Okay. This custom solver. Alright, so let's have a look at the code for the controls. So here you can see at the beginning of the game we connect our pressed events, our button down and button up events to ourself. We also use UI actions which allow us to respond to the keyboard. So essentially this class, this control script is consolidating our buttons and our keyboard into one control scheme. So as you can see here, on shoot button down, we have this pressed equals true. Down button. So this shoot button is sort of what we're interested in. Okay, I think I'm going to need to read a little bit more about the by the way, if you're interested, check out saidthecat.com. All the streams, links to YouTube, Twitter, Discord, Twitch, and posting overviews for like issues that we've run into on stream and off stream. So check that out, saidthecat.com. I've updated the style and the brand recently, so it looks a little bit nicer than before. Okay, so let's go over to the Godot docs, and I'm going to look up our touch button. Touch button. I'm sure it's a touch button. Touch screen button. Ah, sneaky. Okay, so this touchscreen button is a little weird. We've got it pressed and released. However, we don't really have a method for telling which finger or which touch triggered this event. So, let's have a look at the Godot touch drag. See if there's an example for touch and drag. So I wonder if we can plug into the viewport. So that will allow the player to touch the middle of the screen instead of the button to trigger the shoot. Which I don't dislike. We can definitely give that a go. If we jump down into this viewport, we can have a look at what signals are available. So one interesting thing I've done recently is if I pull this out and I save this branch without the child as a scene, then I can just call this a player viewport, right? And then I can drag the camera back inside. And then here, if we drag what's